videotaping?
Oh, you're gonna be my videographer? Videographer? Hey, you don't have to. Right here, you can hold it. Hey, hey y'all. Hey, listen. I was gonna do a video on. Thanks. Kim videographing me, except she's holding the. I was gonna do a video on this, but guess what, y'all? They've decided to take it back.
Hey, I get credit for this one.
Kim talked to our sales rep. And can you open the door now?
Oh, I didn't realize. Sorry.
Yes. So apparently Marks did not look at this. No representative of Marks looked at this. The person that looks at these with HL Flake is the sales rep for your area. Our sales rep, excuse me, never even knew about it because we don't really ever call him for anything. So I didn't think about calling him prior to sending it back. We just called, got an RMA. So apparently the person that we talked to at the returns department just came up with the whole story, and apparently the whole thing about giving my email to the quote sales rep to do was never done. Possibly we hadn't gotten an email from this sales rep, so unfortunately in this video I won't be able to take it apart. This was going to be a video like I mentioned in my Wednesday live. I was a little angry, kind of getting way too involved with it. You see me? I'm getting red. Oh, I'm so mad. I'm still angry at Marks because it broke. It shouldn't have broken. I'm kind of angry at Flake, but they decided to take it back. This is going to go back again, so this will make them to us initially, then us back to them, and then them back to us, and now us back to them. So what I was going to do in this video was actually open the box, show you the condition of it. That's horrible camera position. Show you the condition of it. All I've got left here is the pictures that I took of the latch when I was on scene, and you can see that the latch return spring was broken. So what I was going to do was take the box out. We're going to look carefully at the condition because, as I believe, they opened the box, looked at the rust and the gooey or whatever was on there, because I left it in the same condition, and then just marked it as wait, that's upside down. In there, right? Where is it? Come on, focus! Focus! Look at that. Ordinary wear and tear. Lifetime mechanical limited warranty. Lifetime mechanical limited warranty. And it got highlighted ordinary wear and tear. The latch return spring that makes the latch pop back out. If the latch does not pop back out on a panic bar, guess what? It will not catch on the door, will not close. A year and a few months old, and it broke. I've put on a lot of expensive, I've put on a lot of cheap panic bars. I personally have never seen one break in a year and a few months with the latch return spring. And if it did, typically they had a way to repair it. So when you look at the latch, which again we're not going to be able to because it's going back. So what I was going to do is I was going to fix it. I was going to see if we could fix it. If you were in the field and got this call at say 6 o'clock, which we did, and you took it off the door, or you got there, and there's no way, like on Corbin Russwin, on a lot of other brands, they have parts lists. Say Sargent. Let's take Sargent for example. Now Sargent panic devices have, all of Sargent stuff has a ton of parts. I've done a video on getting in some Sargent parts before. Unfortunately, for a lot of the less common parts, it may take you 3 or 4 months to get the parts, especially if it's just like 1 or 2. However, that they make them available. That's the important thing. They make them available in a company by making parts available is helping the locksmith and not hindering the locksmith by making non-repairable things. So what I was going to do is drill out the end pin. It had a pin that was shoved through, and I'll put a picture up right here while I'm talking about this. It had a pin that was shoved through 2 springs, one for the dead latch and then the other for the main latch. Very weak springs. I can't even recall, but the gauge of the wire. And I was going to drill out the end piece. It's crimped on the end. So what I was going to do to fix it, hopefully, or try to fix it anyway, was I was going to drill out this end piece, wherever the picture is here, and attempt to probably take a threaded rod, like a piece of threaded screw, basically with no ends, so it's just a straight threaded piece of rod, and put a nut on one end, basically 2 nuts on each end to run through. And that's what I was going to try to do, but we don't have that option anymore, which is, it's kind of bad for the video, but it's kind of good for our customer and for us, because the customer doesn't have to pay for a new panic bar, and we don't have to pay for a new panic bar. However, that does not excuse the fact that I have a panic bar on their door that I'll probably be having to fix in 1.5 years or so. Because if that one broke, then unless it was just a one-off, then the other one broke. Now I will mention that Marks, this 9900 series panic bar, came out, about 3 or 4 years ago, and I have purchased 2. The first one, like I talked about in my live, the first one, the dogging mechanism, which is when you push the bar down, it stays unlocked so that you can open and close the door, it had stripped out. It took a month of going back and forth with this lady that's in charge of Marks to get a replacement dogging mechanism, because they've never seen one break. I was like, well, during that whole thing, I was like, just because you've never seen one break doesn't mean this one didn't break. It broke. So after going back and forth with the engineer, now, this is a factory or whatever, but it sounds like when you call Marks customer service, you get this lady. And this lady apparently is in charge of the whole factory. So all I was trying to get this lady to do was literally go back to wherever these panic bars were made. And in factories, I'm imagining this. I've seen the how do you do that in factories. And, there's big bins and robots, of course, that are probably assembling stuff. But all the parts are in bins. So there's going to be a bin full of this part. There's going to be a stack of bars. There's going to be a stack of a box of springs. All of that comes together to make a panic bar. So I was just like, go get a part and send it to me. That's all you have to do. It's just this little part. I'll pay for the part. Long story short, we finally got 2 parts. I replaced it. After about another probably 6 months to a year of that being like that, we discontinued using the panic bar, and the customer decided to have a deadbolt drilled above it because it was being so problematic, their particular door, and we completely disabled the panic bar itself. It wasn't a fire code situation or anything like that, so it wasn't that big of a deal. However, so I do have 2 of those bars out there. One is this latch return spring broken, and then this other one, which technically, I guess, if my one breaks with the latch return spring, I can always go take the part out of that customer's bar and switch them or something. I don't know. That's probably what I'll do. But likely you could, I'm guessing if I had to do it, I would drill out the end of that pin, just take a drill bit and drill just a little bit through there, take that pin out, run a threaded rod, like probably an 832 rod through there, put 2, maybe like castle nuts or some kind of the thread locking style nuts with the little plastic inner so that it won't come loose, and just basically make a screw to go through, a pin to go through with nuts on each side to hold it on. And that probably would have worked. We'll never know. I'm going to take a wild guess and say that rigging something like that I've had to do numerous times for other things, so I probably could have made that work. I'm guessing I would have been somewhat successful in it. It may have lasted way longer than the original springs. I do keep a variety of springs in there. This was like a coil type spring with legs, so you know, this is kind of stuff that when you're on site after normal hours of, say, a hardware store, you kind of have to have a variety of parts, like the threaded rod, like the nuts. I've got all that. The spring kind of would probably have been an issue, but I do keep a variety of springs in the truck for incidents like that. So while it may not have been perfect or the best thing for it, I'm sure I probably kind of rigged up something to make work. We'll never know right now anyway. Maybe we'll have to find out in a year and a half. Hopefully we won't. Hopefully it was just one issue. However, it doesn't excuse the fact of the whole ridiculous process that we had to go through. So what we have learned from this is, make sure you I guess, keep up with your sales rep for whatever distributor you're using, and work with them. Again, that was my fault. I wasn't thinking about it. And number two is just don't buy Marks panic bars because of stuff like that. It shouldn't have broken, regardless of any of the, you know, not going to warranty it, am going to warranty it, not going to warranty it, back and forth, the lies that were involved, the apparent lies. I'm not going to say they were lies, but we're just going to say they were apparent lies because what happened, what I was told happened, didn't happen. So, Marks 9900 series panic bars, like I said in my live feed, the only Marks thing that I'm ever going to sell now is the 22 series, which is the bar door, the storm door, bar door mortise lock with the handles, because that's, there's no other choice. There are a ton of other choices with panic bars, all the way from PLS or LSDA, cheapy stuff, Falcon, all the way up to your Von Duprins and your Sargents, which are way more expensive. However, like I mentioned, they all have parts that you can replace. They are designed to be repaired, whereas the Marks is just not. So guys, Marks M9900 or 9000 panic bars, again, you get what you pay for. They were cheap when they came out. They were blowing those out the door, really cheap. They look great on paper. They're heavy. But the steel, the stainless steel, for where it was at, it just didn't look good. And that's probably why they refused the return. So, you know, it probably could have been cleaned up. I would have liked to have gotten this video and taken it out and seen how well it cleaned up, just to see if that ate into their steel. And lastly, Marks USA, and it has Taiwan or China or whatever stamped on the inside.
You don't know the components.
They're components, American components, Russian components, all made in Taiwan.
So, just buy different. It's so misleading. The whole company, it's such a misleading thing. You know, it may be designed in the USA, but it's definitely not built, because it's stamped made in wherever, Taiwan or China. I think I got a picture of that too. So again, guys, be very cautious with your panic device, especially when you're selling it to a customer, because it looks bad on you when you have to come back in a year and say, oh yeah, I know I sold you this panic device, but it broke in a year. So, whoops, sorry. I mean, what can you say? It reflects somewhat badly on your company when you have to say, well, sorry, it wasn't warranted. Now you got to pay, you know, a year later or a year and a half later for another one. So just choose another one, guys. Sorry we couldn't do a whole video on repairing. I was really hoping to be able to do that. But again, I'm glad that they decided to take it back. I guess we were told it was going to be covered to send it back, because he said a latch return spring breaking is definitely covered under their warranty, which is contrary to what this says. This says it's normal wear and tear. So anyway, thanks for watching, guys. If you have any questions or comments, as always, leave them in the comment section. Thanks for watching. We'll catch y'all next video.